It's August of 2023, and here are some key notes from Smogon's monthly tier changes in the Pokemon singles metagame. Starting right off the bat, we have to talk about Moltres' insane rise into OU. Now I know Moltres is starting to gain some steam, but to see it rise into OU officially still kinda shocks me. Still though, nevertheless, heavy duty boots and special defensive Moltres started to be really good in its defensive schemes as it could provide for a team's needs. For example, it completely decimates Enamor's hyper offensive sets as it resists Moonblast and is immune to Earth Power. Kingambit succumbs to either a Flame Body or a Will-O-Wisp Moltres. Goldango, well, Shadow Ball still hurts from it, but taking a Flamethrower hurts even more for Goldango. Corviknight, Cinderace, etc. The list goes on how Moltres' defensive capabilities helped it out even further. And obviously it's all thanks to Heavy Duty Boots eliminating its 4 times weakness to Stealth Rocks, which really helps live it longer throughout matches. Now, this isn't to say it's some renaissance Pokemon. I mean, it's still near the end of usage list and very well can get walled by Pokemon like Heatran, Garganacl, etc. But make no mistake, it's still pretty valuable in OU despite that. Next is Greninja's rise into the OU tier, and this isn't that complicated. Ever since the release of Battle Bond Greninja into the UU metagame a while ago, its late game shenanigans and activating that boost served to be deadly onto the opponent's side. +1 speed, attack, and special attack can serve as a huge problem as it raises hyper offensive potential, coupled that with a life orb and it was a nightmare. You could even tack on a loaded dice to ensure Water Shuriken can hit more and guarantee late game kills in order to activate that Battle Bond ability and become that sweeperish kind of snowball momentum onto the opponent's side. And in essence, Battle Bond Greninja is the main reason why it's really good, as it helps its lacking stats at least to be more comparable with the more power creep Generation 9 metagame. Anyways, besides that, there are also other rises like Cresselia and Meowscarada. I'm not even gonna go over Meowscarada that much, like I talked about it before, but in essence it just had too much offensive power in the UU tier and was in discussions whether or not it should have been banned like also a couple weeks ago, so this is like to no one's surprise. With Cresselia, its defensive pivot schemes with Terra Poison or fighting, coupled that with Clover Cloak Moonlight, Stored Power, Calm Mind, shenanigans were starting to be really valuable against a lot of the tier in the OU tier, especially like Garganacl Salt Cure, Enamorous, Iron Valiant, etc. In short, its defensive identity is pretty critical against some of the most annoying Pokemon running around in the tier. Quickly before we move on though, if you guys are enjoying yourselves and are new, consider subscribing for more Pokemon content just like this. And if you guys want to support me even further, become a channel member or join the Patreon, link in the description down below. Anyways, back to the video. Finally, the wait is over after months and months of debate. Iron Treads is finally reduced down to the UU tier. I mean, who didn't really see this coming? This thing was definitely going to go away. Its defensive pivot sets were good from time to time, but it started to be too niche for use on occasion, with better defensive Pokemon or utility Pokemon in the tier. Oh, and Volcanion also fell through down to UU as well, and I can only guess that its slow speed and while its water absorb ability was really good, Clawchar just did that role better. Having the option to burn with Scald was valuable, but it wasn't all that necessary in the tier with Dragapult, Will-O-Wisp, and now Moltres in the tier. Enough with the small things though. There were also a ton of drops with the RU tier. RU now is a hectic metagame with prominent Pokemon like Basculegion Male, Bisharp, Hisuian Typhlosion, etc. all dropping. Surprisingly though, Torkoal also fell down all the way down to RU, which was something I didn't expect, although Rain and Snow are a bit more common these days, with Galarian Slowking, especially with Chilly Reception. Iron Leaves is gonna tear up RU, Wochien keeps showing why Game Freak needs to stop releasing Dark and Grass types, and the king of competitive Pokemon is now a peasant down in RU. Tyranitar out of all Pokemon is in RU, which I think is just absurd. I don't think anyone could have predicted that since the start of the Generation 9 metagame all the way back in November. Seriously, just add back Excadrill and Tyranitar might see a rise back into UU, maybe OU, or that might be just too wishful thinking. Anyways though, these are the tier changes for the August update for Smogon's OU singles metagame for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let me know in the comments below what do you guys think of this, and if you guys haven't already, join the Discord, link is in the description down below. Thanks for watching guys, as always.